Yesterday, I made a bunch of videos fairly quickly. The weather was brutal outside. It was cold. It was windy, and I did the minimum to make sure my animals were okay, and stayed in here. And I thought, well, what can I do? And I made videos. Uh, Here's another one. Once again, I may do them fairly quickly now so that I can get last year recorded and move on more to this year. I want to talk a little bit more about soil, soil, soil. I am making a bold experiment with the soil on this farm, this land, I should say, this ranch, this former uh, bulldozed over mined village and abandoned. What I'm doing is, well, I'm irrigating it. I've always been doing that, and I won't stop doing that. But I'm not mowing, and I am pruning as I'm able to. But as I said in other videos, willows are volunteering. Uh, I'm grazing the land with goats and pigs, uh, and the combination of irrigating and grazing with goats and pigs seems to be making the soil more fertile, but I'm not mowing, and I have no doubt that it's very contributive to life itself in the soil and on the soil. Uh, but you know, will it get completely out of control? I don't know. It might. The fact that the soil is so poor here, I can make this. I can afford to make this experiment because I'm really losing nothing. The soil was not really profitable otherwise anyway, and and I'm enjoying the pigs, and you know, but it's quite an experiment. And at some point, well, certainly before too long, I'll go out with the camera and show you what I mean. The the ground is not bare really ever anymore. It's always got either what people would think of as weeds, like up on the hill where it's still dry. Uh, the ragweed, the goats don't keep up with it, and the pigs eat it early. And the other, but it falls back. That up on the hill, it's pretty bare, uh, almost at least in the winter time. But not because I mow. There's still standing stalks, but that ground up there is so infertile. But down lower, where I've irrigated and where I've managed to keep the soil fairly moist, there is maybe this much vegetation laid down that is everywhere. I mean, certainly the ground is protected. Now, that vegetation is mostly made up of sedge, and I haven't grazed intensely this year. I don't have anywhere near as many pigs on this land now, so it's not very intensely grazed. And I sometimes, if I had better fences, and maybe eventually I'll get more pigs there in order to balance that out. But you know, it makes me wonder, where is this going to go? Now, my irrigation system also drains, and I need to keep it doing that, because otherwise it would simply become a swamp and become waterlogged, which I think would not be so good for life. Uh, as that, as keeping that diversity between the zanjas, the infiltration, the zanjas with water flowing in them, and all the aquatic life in those narrow ditches, and then dry land on either side. But some places, it'll be a bit of a challenge to make sure I can keep those zanjas open with this great force of growth. Uh, there's a guy named Matt Powers who he has a style which I find a little bit hard to deal with. He's enthusiastic, and all that, but I think he's doing great work in teaching about this new science, really, of soil microbiology. It's really quite new, maybe 30 years old, maybe 40 years old, but to the public knowledge, only within maybe the last 10 years or so. And he wrote a book. I should buy that book and read it, but then pass it on to my Amish friend Elam, because he wants his great interest. He's a farmer. His great interest is soil. All right, bye for now.